Ashley Miller, nice to see you there. Nice haircut. Thank you so much. Just got it done a couple hours ago. It was getting shaggy. Jen, what's up? Nice to see you there. Hi from Rainy, Virginia. Nice to see you. Christy McCarthy, what's poppin'? How are you? Come on in. Hi, Ashley. Other Ashley. Terry Evans, nice to see you there. Monarch, nice to see you there. Ever, hello. Music Girl and Spirit Sponge are in the house. What's up? So, for my friends, mods, we're going to let our subscribers get a chance at this first. So if you're a subscriber, which you all are because this is sub only live, you have the opportunity to hit the guest button and come live with me and ask me your questions about mediumship and psychic development. Or if you have a ghost question that you want to pop off your boy, let me know. Just hit the guest button. I'll bring you on. Keep it brief. Ask a question, and I will do my best to let you know what I think. All right, come on in. Nice to see you there. Welcome in. Remember, this is going to be a new thing that we're doing here. This is the 4th week in a row, I think, that we're doing this, and it seems to be working out pretty well. So make sure you're coming in and saying hi. Hi, Taylor Brendan. Nice to see you there. How do I subscribe if I don't have a wallet on my phone? I don't know, Eva, but for right now, you're subscribed, which is cool. So welcome in. Depending on where you are, I think you can subscribe through your iOS store, I think. Just so you know. You're welcome. Come on in. Hi. Nice to see you there, Liliana. What's up? Amy TB Arts in the house. Siriani says, my daughter says, hi, goat guy. Hello. I don't know what a goat guy is, but thanks. I don't have a goatee. Court, thanks for resubscribing. Welcome in. Ooh, thank you so much, beautiful. Nice to see you there. Welcome in. Hey, Catherine McQuaid. Nice to see you there as well. Thanks for all the sharing that you did the other day. I see that stuff. Thank you. And everybody who does all the sharing, thank you. Goat, greatest of all time. Aha, I see. Ghost guy. Oh, ghost guy. That makes sense. I am the ghost guy, I suppose. So if you have questions, come on in and say hello. If not, we will take some moderators up here as well to get the ball rolling. They always have questions, believe you me. My day was good, thanks. I was off today. I woke up this morning. We were going to put the curtains up on my window over here, and unfortunately the bar wasn't long enough, so we have to get a new bar. Then we'll put the curtains up. Then this backdrop will be ready to go about. Hey, Amy Dooley, nice to see you there. So yeah, maybe one day my dad will come through during a reading. I hope so. I hope that he comes through. Well, Maggie St. Peter, I can do one thing for you, my friend. I can give you a follow from the real Scotty. That's the least I can do at the moment. So here you go. I'm hitting the follow back for you, Maggie. There you go. Thanks for sharing so much. I appreciate it. That's the most real thing I could do at the moment. Hey, what's up, Lion Spirit? Nice to see you there. Change your name? Alan Young? Cool. Tiny B's in the house. Casey, thank you so much. All right, let's see what we got here. If you have questions and you don't want to go live, you can ask our moderators to ask the questions for you, and that's not a problem either, okay? So we have Christy's down here. We have Ashley's going to hang out with us in the box. Don't be afraid. You don't even have to turn your camera on, just your microphone to ask questions. I started going live. Man, you inspired me. Oh, thanks so much, dude. I appreciate it. I'm going to give you a follow back, by the way, Alan. There you go. So, there you go. Tracy Warden says, nobody ever comes through for me. Does that mean they're mad at me? No, not at all. It just means that they haven't picked their spot to come through yet. We've had people come here for a minute and a half and their loved ones jump down my throat. And then we have people that have been here for months, years, and they just will come through and they're comfortable and they find that time to do that.
I mean, I've been here, it'll be 2 years, just over 2 years next month, and I still have yet for anybody to come through for me.
Yeah, and to be quite honest with you, that's probably the best way for any of you to know that I'm authentic, because I'm not just being like, yeah, it's your grandpa coming through. You know what I mean? Like, I authentically am just letting whoever wants to come through, come through. And I think that is the most important thing to do when you're doing this, is be as authentic and real as you possibly can be. I'm sorry to hear that about your sister and your daughter. Oh my goodness, Andrea. So just talk to them and let them know that I'm here and listening. If they want to come through, that they can come through and speak with me. I'm very nice to spirits and everybody. So Christy's here. What's up, Christy? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Nice to meet you.
You too. I just have a question. We moved into a house that was built in 1936.
Okay.
The people that built it, lived here their whole lives. I mean, the only other people that lived here was their son. My parents bought the house in 97. We bought the house from them a few years ago. The woman, her name was Doris. I'm sure she's still here. She had spray painted her name in the basement when my parents were here, and she took off all of my mom's things on the mantle and then ripped the mantle off the wall.
Wait a minute. She did this after?
After she was dead.
She spray painted a wall after she was dead?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have my attention. Go on.
And then my parents started calling her Doris. Well, then one day they had gone downstairs and she put MS period. So it's Miss Doris, we had to call her. We can still hear her come down the steps sometimes. When my daughter was little, she would get her a bottle. Like I'd wake up in the middle of the night. We lived here for a month while we were looking for another house. And my daughter would be crying. I'd get up to get a bottle. I would come back up and she'd already have a bottle.
I'm going to say something crazy. You didn't have any spaces behind the walls, did you?
No,
like,
nothing.
There wasn't a place for somebody to be hiding and living in your house without you knowing.
No.
Because all that stuff is above and beyond, like, paranormal activity. To me, that sounds like a human being that is either acting without remembering or there's somebody walking around.
No, because the other thing is I would walk into the living room and somebody would be on the computer. I could see playing solitaire, but there was nobody at the computer.
Oh, that's crazy. So, just so everybody knows, I always believe everything that you tell me, but then my rational brain, the cop part of me has to kick in.
Right. No, I get it.
If it doesn't, then we're just being like everything's ghosts. So that's really crazy. What did your parents make of all of that activity that was happening?
It freaked my dad out because he was laying on the couch when my parents were still married, was on the couch, and he thought my mom had came out and kissed him, and she hadn't. And then I've seen her, and my son has seen her, and she's just, I can't make out a face, but she's wearing like a see-through blue, it kind of looks like a nightie for lack of a better term. And I haven't seen her for years, but I can still hear her once in a while. And I don't know how to help her. I don't know what I need to do. I can still hear going up the steps.
At least the energy has lessened. I wonder if Doris had a very special connection to the house for some reason.
Yeah, her husband built it.
Yeah, so she probably felt very much that was her space and was trying to quite literally mark her territory by putting her name there. But then to do kind things like take care of the baby, that's interesting. And then to give your dad a little smooch, that definitely could have been something to scare the man of the house, I would say.
Right.
Not only would that start me getting to think about things, but if I told my wife that ghost women were smooching me at nighttime, probably start a little fight. I'm guessing.
It was very weird. I mean, so if my son got scared and he wouldn't come over, I mean, he's older now, but he refused to come back here because he's seen her too many times.
Well,
I've only seen her.
I literally right before this, I got on and I made a video saying that, I have this ability to read photographs. So if you ever want to put a picture or two up of your house and let me see what I can glean off of it, put it up in the thing. Make sure you up in Discord. Make sure you tag me so that way I can see it, and then I'll tell you what else I might or might not pick up from your house, because that's a really interesting kind of thing that was going on. I'd love to see.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Now we're redoing even more of it, and she's been really pretty quiet. And so maybe now she realizes my parents lived here 27 years, and now I'm going on my 4th year. So
31 years of your family layers on top of hers. So just like with earth sediment, right? As we build layers here on the earth and dinosaurs are all the way down at the bottom and there's different layers. It's the same thing with psychic energy and mediumship type of levels. So Doris is down here in the timeline now. She's much further away from the time that she lived there. You guys have been adding your energy in the family energy, layer, 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 layer. So like a thick layer of blankets, she's all the way down, tucked down at the bottom. So by the next generation of either your family or the next people who own the house, there's a good possibility nobody will even know who Doris was after that if you guys stop telling the story.
Okay.
Or you guys leave, somebody else picks up the house, and all of a sudden Doris is like, I don't like these people at all. And she starts tagging walls and doing crazy stuff again.
It was crazy, some of the stuff she would do.
Plus, depending on like what the house is built on as far as like rock and sediment goes, quartz, if you have a lot of quartz in the earth, that can absolutely add to the ability for these ghosts to manifest and do things. Yours sounds pretty extreme. I have to take you at your word for it that stuff was happening. Adults, to me, don't make up stories like that. It's usually children who are like, don't want to get in trouble. They're like, I didn't write on the wall. It was Timmy. And it's like,
right.
But you're Tommy, and I think you wrote on the wall. You know what I mean?
Right. No, for sure.
But adults don't generally lie about those sorts of things. And I'm not saying that your family or anybody is. I'm just saying, like, as an investigator, I always take that sort of thing into consideration.
Oh, believe me, I doubted it when my parents first told me about it. Until then, I would see little things, and once in a while something would kind of, go by the corner of your eye, almost like something went by you real fast. And so
yeah, it's one of those things.
I'll definitely send some pictures.
Yeah, please do that. I would love to see it. Thank you so much for telling us that cool story. I love paranormal stories. I love hearing about the neat things that I never experienced like that. So that's really cool. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, Scotty.
I appreciate it, Christy. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. We got Catherine is up next. Hey, there's Catherine coming on.
Hi.
Hi there, Catherine. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Very good. What kind of questions you got for me, pal?
Well, I've got like 2 questions and then a story.
Go.
So the first question is like, I'm not sure if I should do this, but everyone should keeps telling me, and I should make another TikTok account where I tell the ghost encounters that I've had, because I can see and speak to spirits and hear them as well.
Catherine, as somebody who's doing really well on TikTok, do that, because that's what I started doing, and here we are. So do that.
Okay. Second is, how do you have any advice on how to close a portal? Because there's one in my bedroom, and I really don't want it in here.
Ooh, portal question. Yeah. Portals are a really interesting thing. We always want to consider what made it and why it's there. There's different kinds, and sometimes people like us are responsible for it. We accidentally open them up because we are more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. Sometimes they're natural ones that have been here for a bajillion years, and somebody just happens to have built on top of it, and you kind of got to live with it because it just exists. And then there are the other kinds that are opened up by the spirit world, either by a human passing or the other side really pushing through. So there's a couple different things that I would do if I had a portal in my house and how I would handle it. So if it's a natural one, I really don't have a good answer for you. Some people might tell you to use something that's called Florida water, which is a really great cleansing concoction that people come up with. And it helps barricade and create protection against those sorts of things. If it is one that you created, I would definitely just try to picture it in my mind's eye. And literally, I would, in my imagination space where we perceive all of this, it's so simple. People don't think about how simple stuff is. On the portal, whatever it looks like to you, whatever shape it is, I would imagine a zipper across it, and I would zip it closed right in my mind, and I'd watch it close up, and I'd be done with it. That lets me know, and I set the intention that it's closed, and I'll no longer be receiving any information that comes from there. Okay? And then the third one, the one that's kind of created by those things on the other side, I would just ask that whatever was coming through it stop, and give it a really good firm, like, you need to stop coming through here. Those are the best ways to close those up, in my opinion.
Okay, it's just because, like, sometimes I'll go to bed and then I'll wake up to a spirit standing at the end of my, at the bottom of my bed that I've never seen before. Mm-hmm. And I'll ask them, like, why are you here? And they'll say, we've come through the portal. And I'll just be confused about it, and I'll be like, can you leave? And they will leave. Some of them do, some of them don't. But,
so definitely before, like, if you can in your mind, picture where it is in your space. Just do that. If it identify, ask, like, is it, so I don't want to tell you how I perceive them because I don't want to push into what your vision looks like, but I know what my portals look like if I create them by accident. I have a very good idea, and I just close them if I need to. The other ones from people passing or from the spirits on the other side coming through, they look much different. And really, when spirit is using those portals to access people like us, they're really just looking for help. What you can do is, if you can identify just the general space of where that portal might be, just tell them, I can't help you when I'm sleeping, please leave me alone. And the more you say that before you go to bed, the more they'll stop coming to you at night. Believe it or not, there are rules in all the spirit stuff, and they do listen when you put in the boundaries.
Okay, I think I know where the portal is in my room, but I'm not entirely sure. Because in the corner where I think it is, I've seen a lot of, like, mist before. Like black mist. So I'm thinking that's where the portal is, and my bed used to be by that corner, and I used to get massive headaches and everything else later on in the day as well. So I think that's the corner. I just didn't know what to do about it. And, like, I've already got 6 spirits in my house that are attached to the house and attached to me.
Oh my goodness.
They
Yeah,
don't.
sounds like you need to close that up, or at least tell them to stop coming through it. Remember, we as the living person are very much in charge of our space. So when you put a boundary in, they will listen. So just wherever that mist is occurring, which is very similar to how I see some of these portals, I would tell them, don't come through here while I'm sleeping. I absolutely can't help you if I'm asleep, and I don't like being startled awake. So please stop coming through that way. And they'll listen.
Okay, because I think something bad came through, because I know that bad spirits can cause bad energy and everything else, and a lot of problems have been going on in my household since I've seen this, like, black mist walking around my house. Okay. And that's how everything started going down.
Let me help you out with this too, and this is for everybody. When we talk, and I'm just going to help you because changing a couple words can really change your perception of what's happening to you. When I talk about spirits, I really don't talk about good and bad spirits, because spirits were once human beings, and 99% of the time, all humans aren't all bad, and we're not all good. We live somewhere in a gray area where we try to do our best, but sometimes we mess up and we could be kind of bad, or we can do negative things or things that aren't the greatest, right? But you wouldn't label me as a bad guy because I rolled through a stop sign, or I got angry at somebody and flipped them off. You'd be like, that's Scott. He had a slip in judgment that time, but he's not a bad guy. He does pretty good things most of the time, right? So when spirit comes into our home, especially when they're uninvited, that's what we would call, if a living person came in here, as an intruder. They might be having a bad day and making a bad choice, but they might actually not be very bad at all. They're just doing something that isn't something that we like or agree with. So when a spirit comes into our home and it feels negative, anything that's intrusive to us can feel negative, bad, or just not good on a whole, right? So when you're talking about a black mist, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It's just on a different vibrational level than other things that you might experience. And you believe me, when you're really open to see this stuff, you'll see mists that look all kinds of like colors like this. You'll see all kinds of interesting things that you won't be able to explain rationally, but you'll get different vibes from them. So if you see the black mist and it feels like a bad vibe or a dark vibe, don't immediately go to this is negative. Just take a step back and be like, this feels negative to me because it's in my space and it doesn't belong here. Or no, I'm connecting to this spirit, and when it was alive, it used to unalive people. Then we know that it was probably bad, right? And it was just something that was doing bad things while it was alive. So when you go through your house, if you acknowledge these spirits, if you see them and they're kind of not supposed to be there, tell them that there's a door for them to leave through and that they don't belong there. Okay. But, don't, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, don't go jumping on them and calling them negative and bad, because that kind of feeds into that. And then it could make them much more, energetic, and they could be pushing back on you, being like, I'm not bad. I'm not bad. I'm just right. And then all of a sudden you do have something that's angry. So always at a 0 is something I always talk about. Enter everything, even your own home, with spiritual stuff at a 0. Just no judgment. accept it for what it is, and see how you can deal with it in a positive way.
I didn't know for sure, because the way that I've seen a lot of people describe negative spirits is like a mist and stuff, and the 6 that I already know are in my house and attached to me in the house. I see them as if I'm seeing a person standing in front of me, and it's so I wasn't sure fully, and since I started seeing it walk around, there's been problems with my parents and their relationship, and then like health problems with me and my dad and my cousin and everything, and I just didn't like really know if it was all connected or not.
Yeah, and it sure can be. And again, it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that they're in a space that they don't belong in. And dead energy doesn't mix well with live energy anyway. So that's important to remember also, right? So we're alive. We have a nice high vibration most of the time. And when we're running into these negative, not negative, it's not the right word. When we run into these things that are a lower vibration than us, it slows us down drastically. And when that happens, we start to take on ailments. We start to feel nauseous, sick, pressure in our chest, headaches, all those sorts of things. So make sure in your house that when you come across one of these things, show at the door. Be like, hey, use the front door of the actual house and push them out and say you have to go, you're not welcome. Or back out the portal and tell them not to come back. And I promise you they'll listen to the boundary, okay?
Okay. There's one more thing that I wanted to say. Is there a chance that the reason I'm able to see spirits and stuff is because when I was younger, I died for like 3 minutes and then I came back?
There's a very good chance that that's part of the reason why you're seeing spirits. Yes. They say that people who have crossed over, at least for a little while, have the ability to see spirits when they come back around. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Scotty.
All right, Catherine?
Okay, thank you.
All right, if you make another channel, let us know. We'll follow you. I want to hear your ghost stories. All right?
Okay. Bye, Scotty.
Thanks, Catherine. Thanks for being with us. I appreciate you. Oh, who we got next? Amori? Is that right? Am I saying it right? Amory? You there with us there, young lady? All right. She's going to have to re-request if she wants to come back, unfortunately. Let's see. Who else we got here? Ever was up next. Pulling from the bottom of the invites here. Just waiting for her to come on. What's up, everybody? Nice to see you there. Welcome in. We'll accept a couple people, I guess, since I don't know if everybody's coming. Ever, you there with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. What can I do for you?
So my dad came and lived with me for a week before he passed away.
Okay.
My daughter brought me her baby monitor so that I could work from home and keep an eye on him and help him. And so like the last 3 days of his life on the baby monitor, I could see people around him and I could see mouths moving. Mm-hmm. Like they were talking to him, and then I would go into the room and there was nothing. And I've showed it to multiple people, and some people, when they would see it, they'd say, oh my God, that's Jesus. And then someone would say, well, that looks like a knight, a medieval knight with a bunch of people around him. He's the only one you could really identify. And then one person said, look, do you see the wings? And I had never seen them, but then when they pointed them out, I could see them. I was just wondering if you had ever experienced anything like that.
It's funny that you tell me a baby monitor story, because I was just thinking about one a little earlier. Thanks, Alan. I've never seen anything to that degree, but there's 2 parts of that story that are important. Number one, IR, all a baby monitor is, for everybody to know, is like just like a pet camera or an IR camera, security camera that you'd put on the outside of your house. It operates on the same principle. It's usually a low quality, low quality camera that can see in the dark at about 25 frames per second, which is pretty low. And it has night vision built into it, which just means that it can see in zero darkness with a little bit of infrared light, the light that we can't see with our visible eyes. Those cameras are known to be able to pick up paranormal anomalies pretty well. That's why they use them in all of the big ghost hunting shows. It's why we have a couple here in the house. for uses and investigations. And then the second part of that, of course, is people coming to visit us while we're on our deathbed. That is in every single culture on the planet. People talk about that. Their relatives, their ancestors, they come and they pick them up and they guide us on to the other side so we can make a safe journey without getting lost, right? So both parts of that are really spot on. The next part of that, now I'll tell you my part, so I think that you know and can feel some comfort in the fact that that's a true story. I belong to a paranormal group, like an online paranormal podcast group that I like to follow. And many years ago, this woman put a picture up of her baby, and there was this glowing ball on the monitor, and everybody else was writing it off as dust. But what was interesting is, as soon as I saw that, I didn't immediately, my normal is dust also, but as soon as I saw it, I said, that's Aunt Helen, or Grandma Helen. I know for sure. So I messaged the lady right out in the Facebook thing. I was like, I just want you to know that's actually not dust, for sure not. This is your Grandma Helen. She says, thank you for naming the baby after her, and she's going to look after her. And the lady wrote back, she's like, my Aunt Helen died like a week before my baby was born, and she is named after her, and it would make so much sense that she's watching her for me. So those baby monitors do pick up good activity. Our loved ones can cross over and visit us, and they also can be definitely detected by those cameras in the right circumstances. So that's my story for you, Ever. I hope that helps bring you some peace, knowing that your dad was definitely, in my opinion, being visited by people on the other side coming to get him.
Yeah, it made me very peaceful to be able to see that. It was the most peaceful passing I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm glad I was here with him by myself for 2 days. And but yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. Thank you very much for sharing your story, and I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sure that your dad, when he's ready, will come through and give us the talking to.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll give me a good talking to. Thanks
you so much, Ever. Appreciate you.
We do have one question that was in chat that I saw from Lexi. She asks, is it normal for her head and ears to hurt whenever she is watching live?
I would say that maybe I am causing a headache problem. I don't know. Maybe I'm annoying. I don't find that to be too much of a common issue. I don't know if that's a phone problem. I don't think that I should be causing that problem, to be quite honest with you. Don't run away from me, though. Don't you leave me. You might be, so the only logical spiritual thing that I could say about that is maybe you're getting that way because you are attempting to tap into that same space while you're watching me. And the only thing that I can say about that is, like, when I was first learning, I would watch a lot of whatever's on TV because we didn't have this. So I'd watch a lot of Long Island Medium, or my favorite medium, Kim Russo, or even some of the other TV mediums, and I'd watch them. And I'd be able to identify really fast how and why they were connecting with spirit. And it would amp me up for the next couple days. Not only would it keep me inspired that I knew I was doing something right because I knew what they were doing, but also it would help me energetically make those connections because I was there with them when they were doing it, like even though we're just watching a recorded show. So perhaps when I'm live, it's more strong for people who are more sensitive, and they're also trying to tap into that same space while they're watching me. It very well could be.
I mean, that could be too, like, because I'm getting that too, because my head is, like, every time I watch, it's only when I'm watching you is, like, because I know I can sense things, but, like, I'm still struggling to kind of, like, push myself forward to actually, like, communicate more, but I always get, like, a very light headache, a very light, like, pain in my ears.
Yep. That definitely could be it. All right, thanks for answering that question for them. I appreciate it. Hey, Jennifer, what's up?
Hey, so I wanted to share a story. It's a true story that happened. I lived in Georgia, so I'm from Georgia, but I live in Nevada. And I had already started making the decision to move. And so I came and visited a friend of mine. I was going to actually stay with her and her family. And the first night I was in Nevada, I saw a spirit on the stairwell. And my mouth dropped because I'm like, I hadn't seen a spirit in a while. And when my mouth dropped, my friend turned to me, she goes, "Oh, did you see him?" And I'm looking at her like, what is she talking about? Does she know what I'm seeing? She says, oh, that's my grandfather. I said, no, that's not your grandfather, because I'd met him when he was in the living. And I saw him 2 more times, even though I moved here. Didn't see him again. And then after I moved out and moved into my own place, I actually had a roommate in my other apartment. And I was only in the apartment for a few days while I'm sitting there in the room. I had just gotten home from work. And I told it to leave. And my roommate was like, what? And I said, yeah, there's something standing next to you. And it's kind of hard to explain since you don't really believe in what I believe, because I've been experiencing since I was 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so it came back 2 more times, and I told it to get out because I knew it was a malevolent energy. And then I have a friend over here that lives in the same apartment complex, and she came over as I was moving out of that apartment, and she was like, Jennifer, come here. And I said, what? She says, because we went into my roommate's room. My roommate had already moved out. And in the closet, you could feel the energy, like, coming from the closet with the same energy. But thankfully, I did what I had to do to say, do not follow me. I have not experienced it in this apartment, but that was the weirdest experience I'd ever had, because the energy, the malevolent one, kept visiting 3 times in one day. And I told it to get out, leave me alone, because I have 4 cats, so leave us alone. And it finally did, but that was the strangest thing I'd ever experienced. I've had other weird experiences, but that was one of the oddest ones. And this one more experience in that apartment. Mm-hmm. My friend she's also empathic. She's got psychic abilities. She reads tarot and all that. We were in the kitchen area. She goes, there's a woman and a child in the kitchen. So I don't know if everybody believes in this, but I downloaded a ghost app to see if I could see her and the child. And my phone wasn't picking it up, but it was a Saturday, and I'm in the room, and my girls were like sitting on the bed and they were sleeping. And it said 65-year-old, nice male, whatever, the description was. So I saw it come out of the wall, so I started screen recording, and it comes out of the wall. It literally came up to my one cat and started petting her from the head to the mid-back. And I said, after the second time it did that, I was like, leave my babies alone. Do not come near my cats. And it just kept on petting her for about a minute. And when I finally screamed at it, it stopped. And it stood up and it started walking backwards, and it went into the wall and it disappeared. As God is my witness, that happened. And I'm freaking out. Well, then days later, my cat, the same one that the spirit was petting, she got really sick.
Oh, no.
I nearly lost her. She started getting lesions on her body. She couldn't eat. She lost 5 pounds, which, like, 1 pound on a human is 5 pounds. Well, 1 pound on a cat is 5 pounds on a human, something like that. She lost a lot of weight. She couldn't eat. And anytime she ate, she'd throw up. Oh, my. But I had to delete the app off my phone. But the recording, when I recorded it, it didn't show anything. It wasn't even there, and I knew that I had
see it in real time, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I have never experienced that before, because I'd had the Spirit app on my phone, on previous phone before that, and it would record it, but this one would not record. But it was the weirdest, fascinating but weird thing that I ever experienced in my life, to see my cat or any animal being petted by a spirit.
Yeah, so, I've never heard that. We know that animals are very susceptible to spirit communication. We know that they can see them. They definitely feel them better than we can. They perceive them better, in my opinion. For some, I would have to do a little more research into your home and the people who live there prior, or the space. I don't know spirit all the time to be negative towards animals. I wonder if this was more of a spirit that you might have scared off and perceived as negative, that was actually coming to comfort your sick cat. So don't think of it as the spirit got the cat sick, as opposed to possibly something on the other side might have known that the cat was about to get sick and was comforting it prior to that happening. We always have to. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. All I was going to say is that when we look at these sorts of things, we try to come up with a causality, right? A reason why things are happening. And of course, you had this crazy paranormal event, and then your poor cat gets sick. So you might think like, oh, this spirit did this to my cat. Whereas with my experience with spirit is more like it was coming and comforting beforehand, or might have, and it might be something that you should look for in the future. That if you feel that same energy, you may not perceive it like you did that night, but you might feel it a different way around people. You might want to start building a pattern and understanding that if you feel that around people or animals, that you can effectively say like, hey, you should probably go to the doctor and get checked before they get sick.
Yeah, it was weird because she was healthy and fine, but then the doctor was accusing me of putting chemicals on her or something. And I'm like, I would never do that. I work all day. I come home and pretty much only have like 1 or 2 hours and we're asleep, you know? Yeah. And she was absolutely fine and healthy. Never been sick. I've been with her since she was born. You know, I was there when her mommy was pregnant.
So why would you ever hurt your fur baby? Yeah, sure. Why would we do that? We wouldn't. And I get doctors. I get.
I heard that there were times that a spirit can affect your animals. Like some dogs have passed because of some certain thing happening. And I was just really scared because I'm very guarded with my animals. I don't want, anyone to hurt them, obviously. But the weirdest thing was with her, she didn't even flinch. She didn't move, but it just kept on. You could see it literally petting her on the camera. And I'm sitting there in disbelief, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? So when I tried to find the video, it was nowhere to be found.
That I've heard it's actually happened to me. A similar thing. I don't know how the paranormal always works. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. It's paranormal for a reason. We can't always put our finger on it. But recordings go missing all the time from paranormal stuff. Just recently, a couple months ago, I was out with a couple really experienced investigators. We took a digital audio recording of something. We caught something incredible, and we played it back like 10 times. We listened to it. I locked the file into the recorder so I could transfer it to the phone. By the time I made it from where we recorded it back to home base, which is about 30 minutes away, it was gone. It just was deleted. The file didn't exist. So the paranormal has a way of definitely messing with our electronics and doing things that we can't quite explain. So don't feel like you're crazy for that when it happens to the best of us.
I really thought I was.
Yeah, but it happens to the best of us.
Thankfully she's fine now, but she nearly ripped her ears off, scratching so much, and she just had a total skin allergy, lesions all over her body.
So if you ever have anything like that happen again, just take a little bit, warm up some water, take a little bit of
peppermint oil,
table salt, and you can use peppermint oil if you like. It helps a very good barrier. Put it into a spray bottle and just spray the walls and wipe them down real quick. I'll help cleanse all that energy out and create a barrier so they can't come in and out. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for your story. That's really interesting and something to think on. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for being here with us. Thank you. We have Spartan's up next. Oh, what's up, Ashley?
So it just shows that the paranormal is known as the unexplained for a reason.
Yep, exactly. Spartan, what's up?
Hi. I have an ex-husband and a late husband, and I was in my early 20s, and my ex-husband had 6.5 acres in Palm Springs that used to be owned by an LA motorcycle cop. But when his mother passed under really strange circumstances, and when he passed, he had supposedly hidden a bunch of stuff on the property. He cut everybody else out of the will. It was this really bizarre situation, and we're living in the original ranch house that he had lived in. And in our bedroom, we had really large French doors with these big blinds, and I could see this gray spirit kind of move across. And I thought, that's kind of weird. And then I would see it move again, and then it started getting darker. And then one night, it literally got black and started moving across the curtains. And I just had this feeling like this is really bizarre. And so I said, you need to pass on. Whatever happened with your son and the family has nothing to do with us. He lives a mile and a half away because he was still alive, but he'd moved. So I said, he lives a mile and a half away. So if you have issues, you need to go over there and talk to him. And literally the dark spirit just went away and I never saw it again. But it was very, very bizarre. And as a child, I was really aware. And I'm on psych meds because I'm bipolar and I'm honest about it. So I'm really grounded. But when I was first widowed, I was wide open. And when I go to the grocery store, I literally could read anybody in my vicinity. And it was way before I knew the rules and consent. And it was so bizarre because there were so many things coming, like flying at me. And I even talked to a couple of friends about things, and I knew things that they'd never told me, which was also very bizarre. But I'm very grounded now. My meds have kind of tuned it out, but that was a very bizarre experience. But I really feel like I helped that person find the right place it needed to be because there was a lot of really unscrupulous things that had gone on in that property.
So it's interesting. It sounds like you really did what I like to do. Whenever I go to a location and people are like, it's so haunted, I don't know what to do, I'm so scared. Literally, I go and have conversations with these ghosts. It's never like the movies where I have like a crucifix and holy water. I'm like, get out. It's not like that. It's more like me showing up to a call as a police officer and there's an agitated subject in the house and somebody's like, can you please remove this person? I don't put my hands on them. That's very exhausting and tiring, and there's paperwork. What I do like to do is say, hey, I'm going to make it their idea to leave. Hey, it'd be really great if you went and found another place to be for the evening. You would definitely save everybody, including yourself, a lot of trouble by going and taking care of your problems somewhere else. You can't solve them here tonight, and it'd be really great if you went over there and did that for us. And it works just as well with the dead as it does with the living, I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
So great job, Spartan. You did verbal judo on the ghost. That's what we like. Great job. And thanks for sharing with us. I appreciate it.
We have another question from in the comments. I forget who commented it, but they want to know if you believe in telepathy, and if so, is it something that is learned or is it something that you are born with, that you naturally have?
Okay, so telepathy would be in the realm of mind reading, and it's the one psychic phenomenon that I have myself never really experienced. I don't have a yes or no answer on that one. My door is open for the idea of it being a thing. I couldn't say no, because if I say no to telepathy, then I should say no to remote viewing, mediumship, and all psychic abilities. So I think it exists somewhere, but I don't know how rare it is or how special it is or how to unlock it. I could say that of all of my really interesting abilities, telepathy is not one of them, and my wife will tell you, because if I was a mind reader, I'd probably be a much better husband. So I will tell you this. If you think that you have that ability, there are definitely ways that we could test it without you feeling like we're trying to disprove you. Because I think that that's a really big thing for everybody to remember, is that when we're learning, all of us, 195 of us, I'm in this group with you, right? When we're learning about things, it's very important to not hear the word no, and not like, we can hear the no in a very kind way that says, you're not on the right path, but I think that you can correct yourself and actually do this and do what you're looking to do, but you're not doing it now. So when you come up with these tests, it's important to not hurt that person's ego in order for them to want to continue. So like, when all of us have kids or grandkids or know a child, and they'll come up to you and be like, look what I colored. And it's a rainbow and the colors are just everywhere. And it's like, the only thing you did, kid, was open up the Crayolas and put every color on this paper. This is not a rainbow. This is an S show of colors. Okay. You don't say that to a kid. You say, what a beautiful job you did. Oh, this is so amazing. You got all the crayons on the paper. Perfect. And then the next time we, as they get older, even we try to teach them, like, hey, try to stay in the lines. If you want to make a perfect rainbow, if you want to make it look beautiful, this is what we do. And then we always remember that staying inside the lines doesn't always work, because that's where the creativity is when we break those molds. So sometimes coloring outside the lines, like our friend Jess, is really important to remember. Okay, so everybody just remember that. Okay, but that was a good question. That's telepathy. I don't know. If you can read my mind, I'm thinking something so hard right now. And I'm projecting it mentally. If somebody thinks of if you know what it is, tell me. All right, you can write down here. I'll write it down. I'll write the word down. Okay, it's very, very funny. All right, if anybody, nope, it's not donuts.
Because I feel like tacos right now.
What's that?
Tacos.
Who said that?
Me.
There you
That's
go.
all.
Telepathy. I thought it really hard too. Good job. There it is. See, so you might be linked up. Toddy B, what's up, buddy?
Hey there.
How are you, pal?
Hey, how are you?
Very good. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry I'm in my car, but you got to fit my Scotty time in where I can fit it in, right?
Me too.
So it's funny because I'm like sitting here looking literally at a Taco Bell, and you're talking about tacos. I have a question. I'm helping. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Sorry, my phone did something weird. So I have a question. So I'm helping this couple out because they've had some pretty peculiar things going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some very not nice things, but regardless, if you ever had a spirit app on 3 different devices nearly at the same time say the exact same thing, specifically stay out of the woods?
No, I haven't. I've had equipment that does different things all go off at the same time, which is very similar.
Okay.
It's crazy as I'm talking to you, I don't know what's in those woods, but as I'm connecting a little bit, I heard look through the ivy. So I don't know what's growing in those woods, but I kept seeing all these ivy bushes, and I heard like look through the ivy.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that's before you
there's
said
ivy
stay
on the
away.
side of the house. I know that for sure. So
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah.
I've not had apps or any kind of thing like that, or ovuluses or anything like that.
Okay.
All say the same thing, but that is obviously if from the spirit world they don't want to be found out and they're like, don't do this, and they're trying to scare you, definitely do it.
Definitely do it.
Yeah,
Makes
do it.
total sense because there's a whole lot of that going on too. So
Yeah. So if they're trying to mislead you or push you off the trail, just do it. The worst thing that happens is you look through the woods for a little while and you don't find anything.
okay, that makes sense. Very good.
That's
Thank
cool.
you.
Use your ability, buddy. You're very sensitive. You know what to do.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that out of listening to everybody speaking tonight, everybody had something that kind of just stood out to me, but one of those things is recognizing your perception of what's going on and then looking at it from somebody else's standpoint so that you know that you're not going down that wrong path.
Right.
So,
That's why I try to tell everybody, approach every investigation really clean. Don't worry about what you learned previously.
Yeah.
It's in your toolbox for when you need it, when it comes up. But remember that everything that you approach in all this paranormal stuff, just like when you meet somebody for the first time, give it the benefit of the doubt, learn what it is first, and don't go in there with like it. Even if somebody's, like everybody has a coworker. All of you have a coworker or a family member, and they're like, that person over there is such a piece of S. They're trash that nobody likes, and they're a gossip. And then you meet them, and they're like the nicest person in the world, and you're like, I'm glad I waited to form my opinion before I listened to anyone else about this person, because as a matter of fact, this person has turned out to be really great, and I don't know what the back history is, but as long as they treat me good, we're good, right? And it's the same thing going into all of these investigations with ghost stuff. Is go in with all of your tools in your tool belt, but also go in clean and fresh and just be like, I'm going to experience this. Now, if you walk into a house and you feel like really nauseous and something scratches you, time to call the Ghostbusters and get that thing out. But if you walk in there and you're just like, it's just an old lady, she's just pissed off you're in her house, she's spray painting the walls, it's ridiculous, but she's just trying to get her voice across somehow, and that's the way she's doing it, right? So that's the way that I approach everything. So Toddy B, everybody, if you don't follow Toddy B already, make sure you hit the follow button. Todd has a really unique way of looking through and reviewing paranormal evidence caught on audio and video. His channel is really cool, full of really cool and interesting captures and artifacts. So if you're looking for that sort of thing to learn and hone your own abilities and really go in with a keen eye, make sure that you follow Toddy B, because he does some really cool paranormal investigations. He's sensitive himself, and I gotta say, he's an all-around nice guy. I just have to say that part too.
Oh, shucks. Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. Thanks for being here with us. I appreciate it. I got time for one more guest, and then, everybody, I got to go to work. Next week, we'll do this for a little bit longer. Let me pick somebody who's not been up here with me before. Let's see who's asked to come up here. I have not had Carmen up here before with me. Carmen, I'm going to invite you in. You're going to be our last for the evening. Thanks everybody who's chilling out with us. I appreciate it. Next week, like I said, we'll do this a little bit longer. Your questions are fantastic. And I can also have Sarah Lemos, who helped us out last week when I was a little bit under the weather. She's already said, I'd be super excited to come back and hang out with you. So we'll have her come back and help us out as well. Okay. I guess she doesn't want to come on with us. Let's see. How about Mama? Let's see. Oh, okay. She's connected. Somebody's connecting. We'll see who it is. There we go. We'll see whatever TikTok decides to do, everybody. Lauren says she loves this. Good. I'm glad everybody likes it. It's better than me just talking to you about everything and missing the point of the things that you all want to know about. It's very important. All right. She's still having trouble connecting there. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hi, Kaylee. I hope Kaylee's not too distracted by the Netflix tonight. Is astral projection and remote viewing the same thing? No. Astral projection is... Oh, thank you, Canadian Cat Lover, for the bunny rabbit. Astral projection is literally when you let your consciousness and your soul leave your body and go somewhere, and you experience things really on a whole and as a whole, whereas remote viewing is stretching your consciousness basically from here to wherever it is that you're trying to look at and understand. I used to astral project a lot as a child by accident, and it's actually pretty dangerous, to be honest with you, because once you let your soul and your consciousness out of your body like that, it's an open shell. So I don't like doing that. It's like being leaving your car running and nobody in it in the city. You know what I mean? Like somebody's going to come and check it out, maybe take it for a test drive, do things you don't want. So I don't do that myself. It's not something I feel like the need to do anyway. That's why I prefer remote viewing. It's much more of a stretch from here, and my consciousness and my soul gets to stay right here where I push myself out. Okay. So, yeah. All right. Getting more connected.
Let's look at an interesting one really quick that I just saw.
Yeah.
Is it possible to see someone who is having an out of body experience, like a spirit? Can you physically see somebody who is having that experience themselves?
I think you can, because I remember as a kid, my dad would never talk about this kind of stuff, but I used to see my dad walking around the house and find him sound asleep. And my dad oftentimes would be like, "Oh, I didn't sleep good last night." You'd hear him groan about it. And a lot of times it'd be around the times where I thought I saw him walking around the house. So I think that I knew that it wasn't, it's hard to explain how you know the difference between a solid person and the image of somebody. But I knew because it wasn't quite right and it wasn't quite him, or he would move strangely, and he's not a sleepwalker or anything like that. So I know that would be him, I think, in my opinion, having out of body. So I think that happens. Yeah, so Elizabeth says, I saw my oldest boy when he was up and he was asleep. Yep. So that's definitely on the money with that. So that is going to wrap it up for us this week. Ashley, thanks for helping me out today. I appreciate you. That was a great question. For everybody who's hanging out with us, thank you so much. Remember, we'll be live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be doing sub live readings, so make sure you're here for that. Anybody that can go back to the last 2 videos that I just posted tonight, do me a favor. Comment in them, repost them, favorite them, the little tab that's like right here. It looks like a little ribbon. Hit that, hit a comment, say something in there, and just hit the repost button. It's down here. Hit the arrow down at the bottom and it'll say repost. And just hit that button for me to push those out into the algorithm so more people can come and hang out with us. Remember, when we hit 1,600 subscribers, we're going to do a pet night. When we hit 3,000 subscribers December 1st, we have to hit it December 1st, by or on December 1st. Oh, thanks so much, Toddy B. On our December 1st, we'll give away the entirety of our TikTok subscribership earnings to families in need for the holidays. We're starting that drive early. Mods, I got to get with you and we'll start talking about how to do the toy drive. I have an idea. All right. Thanks, everyone. Again, I appreciate you, and I will see you all tomorrow at 9 p.m. All right. Have a great night, and thanks again. Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate you. All right, everyone. I'll see you out. Bye-bye, everyone.